Hi, this is Josie, and I wanted to do a video and kind of talk about what I learned this last year and a half or couple years, and I thought it might be kind of fun to do a couple of videos, because most of my videos are just, they're just family videos, and so I thought I'd do something different. But anyway, about a year and a half ago, I was just looking for a backpack to haul a bunch of stuff down to, from where we park up above the river, and haul it down and then bring it back up. Something that was bigger and better and than a book bag or a big day pack. And so I started finding out that there are all these guys who get backpacks for survivalism, and then I saw this show on TV called Doomsday Preppers. And so I checked it out, and, some of the people are pretty nutty, but there were some pretty good ideas in there. I mean, you have to have an open mind and look past some of the stuff, but there are actually some good ideas. And so then I saw Maine Prepper had a review. I guess those are real big on YouTube. They review stuff. So he was reviewing the military ILBE bag. So I went and checked that out, and he was so thorough about it. I thought, well, that's neat, and I checked out some of his other videos that were more like philosophy on prepping and why he was doing it, and it really made me think, this whole movement, I guess there was a movement right about then, and I thought about how, when I think about, at that time, when I thought about the future, if there was going to be any trouble, and yeah, it could be anything from, an apocalyptic situation to just my husband or I get in a car accident, or there's a job loss, or, it's kind of a more immediate and personal instead of a worldwide SHTF, And I thought about how when I envision how I'm preparing for that, all I can kind of see in the future is kind of a hazy fear of that, no, I'm not ready for it. What the hell would I do? And I'm not very comfortable with that. So I started checking out, what could I do? And what really is most realistic that's going to happen to me? Well, we're going to retire, and it's quite a ways off, but I'm not old, but I would say I'm like middle-aged. And we've already had one financial kind of tragedy where my husband got laid off. He had to go to college and get a job. After working for 14 years for a smelter, they closed the place, and then he had to go off and do this. And, it was just a real financial hit to us. So to us, that was kind of an SHTF. And it wasn't just us. It was a lot of people in our area. I mean, people just crumbled around here. I feel really lucky that Dean and I, we stayed married. We didn't lose our house and property. I know people, we both know people that lost everything. They didn't just get, laid off from the aluminum smelter. They lost their house, everything. And they got divorced because, the stress of the whole thing was too much for them. And somebody committed suicide. It was just too much. So, SHTF, in my opinion, can be something like that. It can be a donut hole in the time between you retire and Medicaid. I see a lot of people going through this in our community, and it is just so sad that people in our community, probably throughout all America, are going without medicine. They choose to go without medicine because their medicine is like several $100s a month. So they're living without their medicine rather than to go into a big debt, and they're just waiting for their Medicaid to kick in. And then Medicaid isn't all that great. I mean, it's better than nothing, but... So, I kind of wanted to look forward to being able to live on what we've got socked away comfortably. And that way, if we had to spend our income on medicine or, I don't know, gasoline, say gasoline went up to $10 a gallon for some reason or whatever, that we would be better able to do that. And so that's why I started checking out the prepping movement. And I realized that we need to have enough stuff to run the household comfortably for maybe a couple of years, So I wanted to start buying things ahead, and maybe that's a topic for another video, is how I'm kind of chipping away at it. But anyway, that's what I really wanted to say, is that's how I became a prepper. That, and I was kind of raised that way. My mom and dad already did it. They already thought this way, but I kind of left home early and went out in the world and, roamed around, and maybe it just didn't stick on me as much. But Dad was really into kind of, I guess they called it then, survivalism, and so was Mom. I mean, they lived on the farm and had animals, and Mom made bread, and, they had a cow, and she made butter and sold milk, and so I learned a lot growing up. And I think it's really good to have the ability to be self-reliant. Something that I see a lot of people who are into prepping that I really admire. I admire people like, Gorilla Calm and Doug Base 654 and General S. Lee and Hiberniason and Red October and J. Knoll and there's several of them. Plus, I like Main Prepper, but sometimes he rants, but his overall philosophy I agree with. Get your shit together so that you can handle it yourself. And the reason that I like that is because I have 5 reasons. One is that I like self-reliance because, to me, asking for a handout is humiliating. If I'd really have to suck it up if I had to, go live in a FEMA camp or something. I would rather not, well, you know, it's also kind of dangerous, I think, to do something like that. And then the second reason is that I think it's kind of fun because there's a lot to it. I mean, I put out kind of a little deal here, like, here's my everyday carry gun, and this is dried bell peppers from our garden, and this is one of my favorite garden seed companies, Rupp, and then these are just sutures that, you know, they kind of represent the prepping for the medical side of it, because that, to me, some of this stuff is what's fun. It's such a huge, if you want to call it a hobby, there are a lot of aspects to it. Like, if you're going to be self-reliant, you have to know something about first aid. You have to know how to shoot and hunt and how to garden. I mean, you don't have to. I know there are people out there who sort of specialize in some things, but you can, if you want to. You can kind of split out into all these areas, and to me, that's neat. I really like that. Which brings me to my third reason I like it, and that is the constant learning. You know, I'm always learning, and I'm having to surmount my fears. Like, I left this comment that, I don't know how well I'm fitting into this community, but that when I go into a gun store, I just about like have a fucking panic attack or something, which is really weird because I just feel so inept, you know. I don't know the names of all those guns. I mean, I'm learning a lot, and I was raised around it. I can shoot. I actually not a bad shot. And but there are so many people who know so much more than I do, and it seems like the area of guns is kind of a man thing, and it's kind of ritualized, and like, I'm just really afraid I'm going to walk into a gun store and commit some kind of horrible gun faux pas, and so I have this kind of a phobia, I guess, about that. But anyway, what I enjoy is getting over that, you know, and I didn't really know that about myself until I'm just really curious. I go into a gun store and I wanted to know about the so-called battle rifles. So I go in there and I'm curious and asking questions and looking. I realized I was probably acting like a real dork. And suddenly I just felt like a total dork. And then I was like, Jesus, I am kind of phobic here. And I don't know. So anyway, trying to get over that is fun to me. It's kind of challenging. So then anyway, my next reason that, you know, the qualities of preppers that make me want to be a prepper is the peace of mind. That I know that if something happens, that we have things stashed that will be comfortable. And the way I do it is I don't just like stash jars and jars of white rice. I put back things that we like to eat. Things that we really are going to use, you know. And so that I have peace of mind that we can carry on with a type of lifestyle that we like, are accustomed to, and enjoy. So that's my final point, is that I feel empowerment by that. And by empowerment, I feel like with that, I feel more confident in the future. Like I said before I started doing this, I'd look in the future, and all it seemed was kind of like a hazy gee, if I'm not prepared, I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of a blur out there in the future. I'm not very confident about it, and it's kind of scary, and I'd rather not think about it anymore, so I'm gonna do something else. That's kind of how I thought about it, and I thought, geez, if I have 10 gallons of gas and a couple of cans put away for the Jenny for a snowstorm, well, I'm pretty prepared, you know? And I realized I'm not prepared at all. So now I feel like I've studied on the issue more and gotten a little more ready for whatever may come. And while I was doing this, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I already have quite a few skills. So in that way, I felt a little ahead of the curve, because I can hunt and shoot and fish and garden, and you know, there are quite a few things I can't do, or that I can sort of barely do, like the gun issue. I'm not completely inept, but I'm pretty inept. You know, with the help of my husband and stuff, I'm getting there. But I think I also felt like I think that a lot of people I see on YouTube and stuff, they even say, you know, that they feel they're a little bit behind the curve because there's so much crap you can buy for prepping, you know. And how do you get up the money for all this stuff? And I went to the Prepared Minds video, and this one gal, or I think it's a gal, she left a comment that, yeah, if she had $1 billion, you know, she'd buy a bunker that could fit 400 people in it, and you know, all this stuff. And it just really made me laugh. And it's true, who wouldn't? But the fact is that even if you had $1 million to spend on prepping, throwing money at it is not good enough. You have got to get out there and acquire some skills and some knowledge, and it doesn't happen overnight. This kind of becomes part of your lifestyle. If you're going to be good at shooting, you've got to go out there and do it, you know, most every weekend or something. And it's fun, you know. Or if you're going to be good at cooking or canning or gardening, you've got to go out and get used to being outside and do it a lot. So, to me, that's kind of cool about the hobby, if you want to call it a hobby, is that even if you're rich people aren't going to just only excel at it, you know. I mean, obviously, there's lots of poor people who prepare, and maybe they should, you know. So it's kind of an equalizing thing. It's you don't have to have money to chip away at your plans and how you want to go about this. So I guess that's about all I wanted to say as an introductory video. I don't even know if anybody's going to watch this. Like I say, this is basically my home movie channel, and I just kind of do these things for fun. And I saw other people doing it, so I thought, well, maybe I'll try it. And, oh, another one I really like is Mossy 500A. That young man is just, very, he's so damn moral. What would it be like to be that good? I don't know. So, I also feel gratitude to the people who put in so much time to make videos on YouTube, and I've learned a lot from all the people I mentioned, plus others, that it's quite a long list. And so anybody who does videos on prepping, I've probably watched some of your videos, because like I say, it was in fall of 2012 or 2011 that I was looking for that backpack. And then how that story ended up is I drove clear to the city, because we live out in the boondocks, to a Army surplus store to get the backpack. And I'm looking at all these ILBEs, and then they had different types. And this guy came up, and he said, "Can I help you?" And this guy was a short little dude, but he was built like a brick house. And he told me, and I started BSing with him, and he told me he had been to like Iraq and that other country over there, like Afghanistan, like 5 times. And he said he did not like the ILBE because of his build. And this guy was about my height. He was only about 5'3" or 5'4", kind of a short dude. And he said he didn't like it because it stuck up too high, and he couldn't, like when he was laying down behind something to hide behind it, he couldn't stick his head up. And so the shorter pack, so what I ended up getting was this one he recommended, and it's like a Molly 2. And other people, I don't think they like it. They just hate it. But I got it home and I was like, this is for me. So if you're a short person, you might think of the Molly 2 style, because it is pretty comfortable, and all the weight rides lower. So anyway, that was just kind of an aside, but well, thanks for watching. I'm going to do another video on a couple of books I read and a couple other things. So long, YouTube.